Gabby, Staten Island. Just gonna wait a minute till we have a couple of viewers. Hopefully somebody will hear this, considering all of my Instagram channels have been taken down, so um, I can't even post something to let you guys know that I'm gonna go live. Let's just wait a minute or two. Enjoying a beautiful day. Found a nice spot under a tree to do this. What up, Stutter? Hold on a second, people. Alrighty, we've got 6 people here, which is 6 more than 0. What is up, Third Eye? Alrighty, I'm gonna get started. Today's live topic is snitches should get stitches. Before I get started, I wanted to tell you about something I'm really excited about. On Thursday, we are going to be actually interviewed. Me and Not So Dog are going to get interviewed by Dr. Dominic Corva. And he is involved in, well, I'm just going to read this for you guys. So, People and Their Plants, a community-driven study, is a DCC-funded community-engaged research project involving Cal Poly Humboldt, UC Berkeley, the Origins Council, United Core Alliance, LeafWorks, and Candor Herbarium. Dr. Dominic Corva is the principal investigator at Cal Poly Humboldt, and his subscope in the project is to conduct 100 ethnographic interviews and tell community stories about legacy genetics that place California in a global context, as well as people's geography of communities within California. So apparently he's been watching me on Instagram and on YouTube and invited me to be one of the 100 ethnographic interviews. And I told him, hey, I'll do it, but I want Not So Dog to do it with me. And he was happy to do that as well. So I'm super excited about it. It's going to be live Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. So this is one that I think is not going to be missed. I'm planning on telling a lot of my story. And so, be sure to check that one out. I'm going to put you guys on hold 1 second. Just give me 1 more second, guys. I'm saying goodbye to my kid. Alrighty. So one more time, I invite you all to come check out the live that we're going to be doing on Thursday, 9 a.m. Me and Not So Dog. So, like I said, come check it out. Skibidzi. You're going to have to rewind it or check it out later when I talk about this project. So anyway, real quick, I got 30 minutes. and I just got hit in the face by a leaf on live. Um, yes, AM Pacific time. So, Stitches, I can't even speak this morning. Snitches should get stitches. Think we all agree, right? Well, hope you don't hate me, but it was a little bit of clickbait. Not 100%, but I'm thinking you guys are thinking that the topic is going to be about people that snitch on cannabis grows, and that's not exactly correct. What I want to talk about is people snitching on Instagram accounts. Okay, like you don't like somebody, or they're your competition, or somebody says something bad about you, and you report their Instagram account and get it shut down. And, I think in the cannabis community, it's widely agreed upon that snitching on somebody's grow is fucked up. And, I was telling a friend of mine, back in the day, if you snitched on somebody, you had to go into hiding, and nowadays, people that do it are right there in the light, So I just find it interesting that, I don't think that snitching has become more acceptable, but, maybe people don't fear for their lives the way, you would have had to in the past if you fucking ratted somebody out. So, anyway, today I woke up. Yeah, I say a lot, right? Thanks for that, CR. So, I woke up today and the Craft Growers Network Instagram was shut down. And I'm super upset about it because I never post pictures of flower there. Nothing's being sold there. All we do is promote this show and tell some stories. And it got taken down, and, it's clear that Instagram hates cannabis. And I've talked about this before. Lou from Gene Traders said that cannabis and Instagram accounts, it's kind of like Stockholm syndrome, that we're in love and like can't separate ourselves from our oppressors. And, it's true, and after him saying this, like when my other Instagram accounts got shut down, I had, Gabby Staten Island and, some other ones, they all got shut down. For some reason, they left the Craft Growers Network alone. But now they got to it. But yeah, it's just ridiculous that they do this. It's censorship. I mean, I don't understand censoring people on Instagram. We're not talking about hate. We're not talking about violence. We're talking about a plant that is extremely useful. I mean, take a look. I want to know, is Donald Trump's account going to get taken down if he talks about the benefits of cannabis? I mean, it's been in the news lately that he's talking about it, right? So, yeah, but us, if we talk about it, we got to risk our account and all the work that we've put in. I mean, I've put a lot of work into the Craft Growers Network Instagram. Put up a lot of content that's been well received, and Instagram just at a, drop of a hat, it's gone. Now, do I believe it's Snitches? Well, I think Snitches had something to do with it, because what happened originally was, all my posts were being flagged. And I'm not talking about on the Craft Growers Network. I'm talking about on my Gabby Staten Island Instagrams, right? But, so those accounts were being reported, and it wasn't even for cannabis. They were reporting it, and they were saying that I was promoting violence and terrorism, even like abuse of children. That's like one of the things that people can report you for. And so, when they do that, Instagram automatically takes down that post. And when they take down enough posts, then they shut down your account. And you can request a review, and they will honor that. But then if you keep getting reported, they take it down again. And eventually, when they've taken down your account too many times, then it's just gone. Right? So, it was 100% clear that my first accounts were just getting reported. I think we know for sure that this is widespread throughout the cannabis Instagram space, that haters just report. And I think it's just fucked up. And people don't remember that snitches should get stitches. And I haven't been really looking at the chat very much. I see that you guys are commenting, but so I'm gonna ask you guys a question now. Do you think snitching on somebody's Instagram account is as bad or close to as bad as ratting them out for growing? To me, the consequences, you feel like it's not the same. Like when you rat someone out to the cops, they go to jail, right? But when you rat someone out on Instagram, you're affecting their pocket. You're affecting their lives. And for what? For what? Yeah, if it's for money, yes. Rat's a fucking rat. Third eye, I agree with you. Like, people should not be ratting on people's Instagrams. And I've said this a number of times where, I mentioned in the past, somebody that I thought was responsible for ratting on some of my posts. And I said to everybody, hey, please do not report his posts or anybody's posts. Don't do it for me. Don't do it for you. Just don't do it. Like, ratting on somebody's Instagram post because you don't like them, that's some cowardly bullshit. If you got a problem with me, come say it to my face. Don't just go and rat out my account anonymously. That's the other thing is, like, Instagram, they protect the people that do that, right? And I kind of understand, like, if somebody's reporting somebody who's actually doing violence against kids, they maybe should be kept anonymous because you don't want them to suffer repercussions. Like, so, okay, if you rat out, or I shouldn't even say that, but let's say your next door neighbor is a pedophile and he's hurting kids. I don't think you're a rat, by calling the authorities. You are trying to protect children. You're trying to protect people, and that's fine. So I'm sorry, Skibidity. I don't know if I'm not making sense or if you guys haven't been listening. So, yeah. So, are you saying, Cat, that it's not snitching when you tell the police about a pedophile? Because that's what I think. But I think if you rat on someone's Instagram, now you're a snitch. Because, like, why are you doing that? Why are you snitching on them? Just to hurt them. Not because they're actually bad people hurting people. It's because, you're jealous, or maybe they said something nasty about you, whatever. Yeah, Happy Valley Farms, social media bullies hide behind keyboards. Yeah, and like I said, it's anonymous. You can rat somebody out and nobody knows it. Somebody in the past, they made a post showing how you can prove that you've never ratted anyone out. Because it's like in the settings of Instagram that you can go there and you can see all the people that you reported. And if you go to my Instagram, which I don't have anymore, right? You could go in the settings and it'll show you, and in my case, it'll show you that I've never ratted on anyone, And I got a problem with a couple of people, But, like, I don't think the solution is ratting on their Instagram. As a matter of fact, like, when I was airing out my beef about this one person, like, I wanted him to see. If I get his Instagram account closed, then he can't even see me saying what I want to say about him, and I wanted him to. So I've never ratted anyone out. I encourage everybody on Instagram to figure it out. I don't remember how to do it. Go to your settings and look up, like, if, hopefully all of you are going to not have reported anyone, but you can take a screenshot of that and post it proudly. Say, hey, you know what? I don't report people on Instagram. I'm not a rat. That's... I guess you guys can tell that I'm a bit upset today because that Craft Growers Network, and it might get given back. It might be back right now. I looked a few minutes ago, but this is... we tell history. We tell stories, like, this isn't something that should be censored, like, maybe on some of my other Instagram accounts I pushed the rules, but, like, that's not for a rat to decide, If Instagram finds it and they take me down, then that's just, the game that we're playing, right? But when somebody rats you out, that's fucked up. Petchy, you say somebody who fell out with Natso in recent times. I can't see the end of your message. In federal prison, people who commit crimes against women and children are treated the same as snitches. Yeah, so I mean, like I said, I think there's a difference between snitching and being a whistleblower or protecting people. But, just ratting on somebody's Instagram because you don't like them or because they're your competitor, it's fucked up. Anyway, I'm going to read some of your comments and questions. I hope I didn't offend anybody with the clickbait. Talking about people in specific that, have ratted. I didn't want to do that because I kind of feel like, it's one thing to interview the person that got ratted on or to interview the rat to see what they got to say, but I just didn't want to, like, talk shit about people without them being able to respond or, so, and that's just not what we try to do on this show. So, but yeah, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about people that snitch on people's Instagram accounts? Are they as bad as people that call the cops on you for growing or anything like that? Warrior Nation said, there's a lot of people like that on YouTube. They steal names and content and account. Yeah, that's just another type of scumbag. He keeps harping about revisiting content he and Natso put out, and now says he didn't agree with the history of certain stuff Natso's saying. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I don't know if you're talking about Riot. Tony Snow, a rat is a rat. I agree. A rat's a rat. Anyway, guys, I've got 20 minutes to just sit here and hang with you guys. We can talk about snitches or anything else that you like. Natso's going to be a regular co-host of mine moving forward now that we're collaborating. And again, this podcast I'm going to do on Thursday, I'm going to read this again just for the people that started late. So on Thursday, we're doing a podcast with People and Their Plants. A community-driven study is a DCC-funded community-engaged research project involving Cal Poly Humboldt, UC Berkeley, Origins Council, United Core Alliance, LeafWorks, and Canador Herbarium. Dr. Dominic Corva is the principal investigator at Cal Poly Humboldt, and his subscope in the project is to conduct 100 ethnographic interviews and tell community stories about legacy genetics that place California in a global context as well as people's geography of communities. And so Caleb, who's involved in this project, contacted me. He apparently been checking me out on Instagram and our YouTube channel, and he asked me to be a part of this, and I was like, and I asked if we could do the interview live on, so we're going to do it live on Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Not So Dog and I are going to do it together. And, he's got like questions he's going to ask, and then we're going to just tell a ton of stories about our history in cannabis. So I hope you guys will watch and share. Now that my sharing ability is significantly less, now that I don't have an Instagram account, please help get the word out, because I think this is going to be one of the best episodes that we ever did. And that's not just hype or clickbait like my title was today. Happy Valley Farms. The internet gives bad behavior a front seat to cause havoc. Bee Creeper. Not So Dog is dope. We like his stories. I love his stories, and I'm super excited that he's going to be a regular co-host of mine. Come on, guys. Hit me up with some questions. Let's keep it interesting. But I'm going to have to just cut it short. Thanks, Pet G. I appreciate you. Please share it and help us grow. Pet G says, I'm not a rat, so no names. I was just trying to understand who you were talking about. But I get it. Nest indicas in Cali. Not sure what you mean. And so, okay, let's expand the question. So, if you know someone is a rat, is calling them out being a rat? If you mention them by name? I don't think so. I think now it's like, it's for the good of the community. Soil and Soul Force. Man, we got a lot of people doing sour side-by-sides now. I'm selling a box set, and that includes the Not So Dog sour. And so the box set includes the AJ Sour Philly cut, the AJ Sour Purple City Genetics from 2004 cut. It includes my original sour, the Gabby Staten Island sour, the Not So sour. I might have, and then everyone that gets one gets a free Chem 91. So, so I'm assuming that a lot of people are going to be growing all the sours that I have side by side. Hey Gabby, what's your most liked new strain? I'm not sure what you mean by new strain, like if you mean it's something that I have or just in general. The two that I have that I really like, for new, more modern genetics, the P85 is one that I really love. I think that it's really good for small home growers, and I think it's really good for commercial facilities, and I'll explain why. It's good for small home growers, particularly like inexperienced home growers, because it's a really easy strain to grow, big chunks, and no smalls, easy to trim. It's going to yield good. I think it's super quality. It's got like gas with grape terps. So I think that that's a great one for beginners. And then as far as on a commercial level, it's super productive. Again, it's beautiful flower, and it finishes fast. So the P85. The other one that I have that's really good is the Ridgeline Lance, and that's probably like the best runt strain that I have. So if we're talking about new stuff, that's what we got. What's up, Laced with Game? Yo, yo, yo. Gerard says, the box set is the best deal out there, hands down the best. I'm glad you feel that way. Okay, so I made another video the other day and I put it on, I have another channel, guys, you should check it out, just called Gabby SI, Gabby Staten Island. Try to figure out a way to put a link in the comments later. But, normally when I talk about my business, I don't do it here on the Craft Growers Network, but somebody got upset and was like, Crazy Composer says that all your sours are the same. And so what are you going to do about it? And I was like, well, for starters, there's 100% not the same. There's at least 3 of them that aren't the same, and a couple that we're trying to figure it out, right? But Crazy Composer didn't say that. What he said was that he thinks that the Gabby is the same as the Wing Wang, which may be, right? And then he said the Not So Dog is the same as a plant that he got that was supposed to be the East Coast Sour Diesel, but wasn't the East Coast Sour Diesel. So I don't even know what that means. But, one thing's for sure. The AJ Philly Cut, that one's a unique one. It's not the original sour, but it's a really good sour. It's been around since 2005. And, AJ recognizes that. And then the Gabby Staten Island, and then the Not So. Those 3 are clearly not the same, Hey, I think Crazy Composer is an OG. I think he's a great grower, but I don't think he said that all my sours are the same. I don't believe he's even grown all my sours. Somebody brought into question if he even grew the Gabby. I haven't seen photos of the Gabby flowering. I think I saw some veg plants, you know. Yeah. So then this guy continues to say, well, what if I buy all your box set and they're all the same? Do I get my money back? And I was like, look, bro, please don't buy my box set, because it just seems like he's already setting it up, like that he's going to just want his money back. And, when I first released the Gabby, I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to get rid of the original. And people were like, no, don't do that. Like, we're interested in that because that's the one that you've held forever. So anyway, more sour drama as always. JD, I don't really get the hoopla drama. If it's gas, it's gas. They'll be gas in their own right. Laced with Game says, they say Not So is more on the skunky side. I think the Not So is more on the skunky side. I think it reminds me more of the super skunk than it does the sour. And I think that's great, So, skunk is, I want the skunk way more than I want the sour. And we've got a bunch of skunk coming. I got this one called the skunk piss, which is supposed to come from super skunk. Like, I have the notes on it but it looks like an incredible plant. Alrighty, guys, we got 10 minutes before I gotta go get my daughter. So let's do this Ask Me Anything. Is gas taking over candy strains? I hope so. Oh, Laced Wing. He's the guy that that gave me the skunk piss. So it's Afghan times skunk 1 times White Widow. Skunk rules. I've been noticing fruity plants tend to not be as potent as gassy strains. Anything to that? Yeah, there might be something to that. So I've answered that question, Mac Diesel. The Gabby Staten Island, I think, has the terps that I remember. And I think it's better than my original sour cut, although very similar. I just think it grows better. And I think that that's in line with the story that I told. I said, well, this new cut that I got reminds me the most of the sour that I remember. And that's even more than the original one that I have now, because the original one, it has lost it a little bit, Like, now I've had a couple of people tell me they think that the Gabby and the original are the same. Someone said the original's not quite as potent. And I think, again, that goes in line with what I've said, that the Gabby reminds me of what I remember, like, as sour diesel, and the original one, and all these other strains out, today aren't as sour But I think the Gabby really has those correct terps. But Trey, I don't remember when I got my first sour cut. Sometime in the early 2000s. So, and me and Natsu have talked about it. The sour was so common in Mendocino County in the 2000s. It was like we would just all pass it around. I'm not sure where it actually came from because we just all had it. It was like so common. It was like, you know, later on, it was like the purple Urkel. Everybody had the purple Urkel. We all had the same cut. So back then we weren't thinking about provenance so much. It's like, is that the sour? Yes, great. Do the sour like getting blasted with light? I think the sour do like getting blasted with light, and I think that's a misconception. And one of the shows Natsu and I are going to do is going to be on how, what sours need to, what we think the best way to grow sours on. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not sure if the Urkel is related to Skittles. It might have been pre-Skittles. Natsu would know the history better than I do. And next time we're live, you can ask him that question, JTS. Just looking through some of these questions, see if a slow burn Ridgeline Lance is super, super hot right now. People are figuring it out. Third Eye, you can hit me up. Anybody that wants to hit me up, my website is GabySI.com. And there's a little envelope on the top, which is like a message. It doesn't send an email, but I get a message. And yeah, you can ask me whatever questions you want there. And if it's not nonsense, I'll get back to you. Damn, sorry to hear about the rain hurting your plants laced with game. Purple City is pretty solid, to be honest with you. When they first started off, I thought they were a little bit on the shady side, but I think they've proven themselves to be a fairly decent nursery, and they have some good genetics. Somebody had the Purple City genetic AJ Sour. They got it from there, and they've held it for a long time. And I figured, I have 4, what's 5, right? And to be clear, I am not selling that clone. I'm only including it in the box set as kind of like an extra. That way, we can get it grown out by as many people and, see. So it's possible that the original, the Gabby, and the Purple City genetic are the same cut. And the Wing Wang for that matter. But we're trying to figure it out, and I think the responsible thing to do is to tell people that you don't know instead of lying to people. And if I would have just said from the very beginning, hey, look, I got the Wing Wang, I would have sold way more cuts, but I didn't do that. So somebody asked East R. Platypus or Platypus, what's the best dead show you've been to? There's 2 shows, Grateful Dead shows, that I always think of. It's almost an identical feeling inside for me. The first one was Bob Weir's birthday, 10/16/89, Brendan Byrne Arena, and broke out Dark Star. And They had just played it at the Hampton Arena under the but I missed those shows. And this show, they started the second set with Dark Star, did a Dark Star sandwich. They played it again later with playing Uncle John's band. It was just basically like classic Grateful Dead. And then the other show that I saw that was pretty amazing was 329.90. Oddly enough, oh no, that was Nassau Coliseum, and that was the show that Branford Marsalis joined in for. And The Eyes of the World is on Without a Net. Opened up the second set, and I remember being in the hallway, and it started, and I could hear Branford, and I was just already mind blown, like running to my seats, because back then we used to sit in our seats, particularly on the East Coast shows. But yeah, those were the two. Yeah, I heard Ship of Fools a million times. So I got 2 minutes before I got to let you guys go. So anyway, we got 81 people joining us, a little less than normal. Normally we'll get over 100, so please share this. I want everybody to hear about the live that we're doing on Thursday. Again, I didn't get to announce it on Instagram, which certainly would have gotten me some more views. So you can already see what the Instagram getting taken down has done. So yeah, I'm definitely disappointed that I can't let people know that Thursday we're going to be doing a live Not So Dog and I. So please help get the word around. The Purple City AJ is the best sour I've had so far. Well, it's going to be on this channel, Third Eye Travels. Alrighty, guys. I will take one last question. Third Eye, I'm going to just answer your question. And you said, did you ever hear them play Ship of Fools, and was it good? I mean, I don't have an exact count on Grateful Dead shows I saw, but it was over 100. And I must have seen at least 15 or 20 Ship of Fools in that time. So, and yeah, I think it's a fucking great tune. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great Saturday. I'm going to let you go. I'm going to go spend the rest of the day with the family. Peace.